So let's decode Donald Trump's strategy in Canada, in Greenland, and the Panama Canal. Will it actually usher in a golden age for the United States as he claims, or are his statements mere rhetoric? Is he sending a message when his son says he's there, Donald Trump Jr. is in Greenland as a private citizen, or is some movement already happening? Joining me on India First is Ambassador Kanwal Sibal, former Foreign Secretary of India, former Indian Ambassador to France, to Russia, to Egypt, and Chancellor of the Jawaharlal Nehru University. Also with me on this broadcast is Raymond E. Vickery Jr., former U.S. Assistant Secretary of Commerce, Trade and Development, of course, a key advisor on U.S.-India relations. And Raymond Vickery Jr., may I come to you first, sir? There seems to be a very angry response from Canada, whether it's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau or the Conservative leader of opposition, Pierre Poilievre. Now, Justin Trudeau says there isn't a snowball's chance in hell that Canada will become a part of the US. So is Donald Trump seeking some concessions when he makes a statement on Canada beyond stronger borders and addressing trade imbalance?
Well, thanks for having me. I think that the remarks that have been made by the president-elect are very unfortunate. What it does is revert to an earlier time when personal and national greatness was measured by control over territory. After the disaster of World War II, the world, including India, got away from that concept. Unfortunately, there are some people like Putin and Xi, and apparently now President-elect Trump, who have reverted to the old-time view of what greatness is, and that you can control additional territory necessarily makes you great. That's not the modern age. The rule of law is supposed to be paramount in terms of how nations treat each other. There are those who say that Trump's remarks in regard to Canada are simply to pressure Canada for other reasons in terms of concessions on immigration, on tariffs, and so forth. I don't believe that's true. If you couple the remarks that were made about Canada with those made about Greenland, with those made about the Panama Canal, it clearly shows that Trump takes the view of the 19th century.
So let's take this one by one. Let's for a moment stay on Canada. I'll come to Greenland and the Panama Canal in just a moment. But are you suggesting that Donald Trump's statements are perhaps in response to what China's Xi Jinping and Russia's President Putin are doing? So let's talk about Canada for a moment. On Canada, is it rhetoric, or will he actually impose an additional 25% tariff? And is that threat intended just to ensure that Canada invests more in border security, checks, drug trafficking, human trafficking into the United States of America?
Well, I think it's clear that Trump has tried to link his remarks on Canada to national security. That's the same thing that Putin does in regard to Ukraine. It's the same thing that China does in regard to Himalaya Pradesh and Taiwan, that somehow you're safer if you can control more and more territory. Of course, that's a completely false argument and leads to conflict. We've seen that many, many times in the history of the world, and particularly in World War II. So I think that, yes, it's all linked together, that he wants to be as great as Peter the Great or Alexander the Great. And the way to do that is to control territory. And I think that that's his mindset. Let me bring in Ambassador
Kanwal Sibal into this conversation. Ambassador Sibal, is that also your appreciation? Like Peter the Great and Alexander the Great, Donald Trump wants to be Trump the Great. When we are to talk about Canada first, I'll come to Greenland and Panama Canal in just a moment. But on Canada, US and Canada are close allies, whether it's the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, Five Eyes intelligence sharing, NORAD, the North American Aerospace Defense Command. What does Trump hope to achieve, Ambassador Sibal, by wanting to make Canada the 51st state? Is he not belittling Canada?
Well, he is. He is humiliating Canada. He has humiliated Justin Trudeau personally. He's called him the governor of Canada and has told him that if he can't handle his economic issues, then he might as well become the 51st state of the United States. He's talked about how Canada is a burden on the United States to the amount of US $200 billion, and that the United States provides full security to Canada, that there's nothing that Canada produces which the United States wants, that the United States can do altogether without any imports from Canada. It doesn't need Canadian cars. I mean, he has elaborated his position on Canada and on Trudeau, and Elon Musk has joined in a very humiliating way.
For Justin Trudeau personally, it must be hugely humiliating, the way Elon Musk has also humiliated him. But, there's been a strong response from Justin Trudeau, from Pierre Poilievre. Ambassador Sibel, is Donald Trump starting on the wrong foot, or does Canada need to be administered this strong pill, the threat of drugs, human trafficking, or is the bigger issue China and Russia lurking in those waters?
Look, for us, for the rest of the world, this is a very disquieting development. As it is, people have been very worried about Trump's presidency, his unpredictable nature, his impulsiveness, and his penchant of making statements of the kind that he has made, which create a great deal of uncertainty in the rest of the world. Now, if the most powerful country in the world, which must act responsibility, violates all established norms, even when it comes to relationship with allies, by seeking to expand territorially, by demanding that they give up their sovereignty and join with the United States under threat of sanctions. There are others who can emulate this in other geographies, because you are actually violating, as I said, established norms, and this can have a ripple effect globally.
Especially when he says he's not ruling out the use of military force